My long-term portfolio is looking good today. As of the time that I'm recording, all of the indices are up over 1%. The heat map is a sea of green, and so is the crypto market. So, why is this? We're going to talk about some stock market news that's going on currently. We're going to start off talking about Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. So, this morning he was back in front of Congress, and once again, everyone was watching and waiting to see what he was going to say about interest rates. And the outcome is the Fed will be holding interest rates steady for now, waiting to see how tariffs affect inflation. The full impact is still uncertain. President Trump is pressuring Powell to cut rates. He's been calling him out of his name and demanding aggressive rate reductions. But Powell continues to stay strong and firm on his positions. Now, taking a look at this headline, the S&P 500 soars as Israel and Iran ceasefire is declared. This news led to all of my long-term positions moving up in my portfolio. But let's take a look at VOO and VTI. At the time that I'm recording, VOO is $559.75, just shy of its year high of 563. And VTI is just under $300 at $299.85. Also, just a few dollars below its year high of 303. Both of these ETFs are heavily weighted in those top companies, and they are thriving today, with the exception of one, which we're going to take a look at right now. So, as we can see here, the stock price spiked on Friday due to Elon Musk teasing about the big robotaxi announcements coming out in August. But today, the excitement is over. The problem when it comes to Tesla and these type of announcements is there often is no details, no product, no actual news, just tweets and people just getting excited. That's why the stock price jumped and then quickly pulled back. We just before with Tesla, with the autonomous robots and their different events that they've put on in the past. People hear these claims and sell when they realize that the details, like I said, are not truly there. When it comes to my portfolio, Tesla is a long-term hold for me, but I've been used to the volatility, the jokes that we make about it, calling it Stressla instead of Tesla. I have to deal with the behavior of Elon, the tweets, the falling out that he was having with the president, all of these different things. But my investment was based on fundamentals and potential of the company long term. Now, let's get back to taking a look at some of the companies that are leading today. We're going to take a look at Broadcom as well as AMD and some other semiconductor stocks that are leading today. So, both AMD and Broadcom make small computer chips for phones and cars and other devices. They are leaders when it comes to that AI space. So, currently, AMD is up 6.43%. They got a boost because investors expect high demand for their new chips later this year. Broadcom is currently up 3.14%, and their stock price went up after its latest update concerning their financials. The business is expected to grow, and they've signed new deals with some big tech companies. The gains related to AMD and Broadcom are also influenced by increases to their price targets. And other big names when it comes to AI, like NVIDIA, currently up 2.12%, Intel up 6.56%, and MICRON Technologies up 4.47%. So these three companies were also among these chip companies that are thriving today. So now back to those price targets. We see here that AMD received a strong upgrade here from $110 hold rating to a buy and a price target of 175. And Micron that we just took a look at also was upgraded from a buy at 130 to a buy with a price target of 145. When it comes to AMD, they have an average price target of 133.97, a little below the current stock price at 137.42, and they have a high price target of $200. And then Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, has an average price target of 288.75 and a high of 340. So these companies are selling real products, things that are important to the devices and systems that we use on an everyday basis. It's something that I wanted more exposure to in my portfolio, and I've added NVIDIA into 2 of my portfolios, as well as another big name, Taiwan Semi, which is also up on the day. As of the time that I'm recording, up 4.53%. The tech sector is thriving. All the indices are up. Taking a look at my portfolio, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Disney, Microsoft, everything is up on the day except for Tesla, which we took a look at. But before we wrap up, I want to take a look at a semiconductor ETF, or a few of them actually, because we looked at so many individual ones today. Just want to give you that reminder that we don't have to choose individual stocks. I do hold those companies that I mentioned, the Apple and Google and Meta and all of those things in my portfolio, but I also invest into VOO, which gives exposure to the S&P 500, and VTI, the total US stock market, the ones we looked at the beginning of this video. But now let's take a look at some ETFs, starting with the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. On the day, it's up 3.37%. Year to date, up 11.80%. So this is an investment choice that gives you exposure to a group of those large chip-related companies like NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, Taiwan Semi, Intel, and more. You can invest into the entire group. It trades like a stock, and it works well for long-term investors, especially if this is a part of technology that you want to have higher exposure to. We're all seeing the potential of AI and chips and the potential that these companies could have in the future. And here's a look at a few other ETFs that you may want to consider for the same type of semiconductor exposure. Ticker symbol SOXX, the iShares Semiconductor ETF, which tracks the top 30 US listed semiconductor stocks, XSD, SD, S&P 500 Semiconductor ETF, SOXQ, which is Invesco's semiconductor ETF, with a slightly lower expense ratio at 0.19 as compared to ticker symbol SMH and SOXX. So if this is something that you're interested in, take a screenshot of this. These are a few that you can research if you don't want to choose those individual stocks when it comes to getting that semiconductor exposure. So the market moves fast. There's always surprises. That's why we have to continue to stay informed. The ceasefire, the update from Jerome Powell, we never know what can impact the market. So we have to be ready. However the market moves, whether it's pulling back or thriving like it is today, I'm a long-term investor. I'm going to keep building and growing into my positions. I'm ready to be patient and wait out whatever the market moves are due to these tariffs, as well as these geopolitical tensions that we are going to be dealing with. So if you're not already, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave me some comments, let me know, are you invest all individual stocks, or are you doing a mix of stocks and ETFs like we looked at today? A VOO tracking the S&P 500, or a SMH tracking those top semiconductor stocks. That's it for today's market update. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.